new push to put Saskatoon's downtown entertainment district to a public vote. City Council prepares for a heated discussion on public art after the controversial spending on 3 rock sculptures. And a Saskatchewan family gets world recognition for their chocolate.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. Chantel is away. I'm Laura Woodward. A group of Saskatoon residents want to put the future of the downtown entertainment district to a public vote. They're working towards securing a referendum, starting with a website to see if there's enough interest. Stacey Hine has that story.
Okie dokie, I registered.
Karen Kobison is one of the first Saskatoon residents to register support for a potential referendum on the city's proposed $1.2 billion downtown event and entertainment district.
I just think that there has not been overly clear information as to financing, as to long-term implications.
A group of Saskatoon residents announcing a new website called voteondeed.ca in front of one of the city's controversial $300,000 art pieces.
We thought it was one example of civic expenditures.
Former operator of what is now known as SaskTel Centre, Ken Wood, says it's not an official referendum, but rather a way to gauge whether there's enough interest before launching a formal campaign.
It will help us recruit volunteers, organize neighborhood canvassing, and determine whether we are ready to begin the demanding 90-day campaign.
An official referendum requires support from 10% of the city's eligible voting population, which Wood says is about 27,000 signatures. The petition would also have to be filed within 90 days of the first signature.
Whatever one's position on the proposed project, a public expenditure and commitment of this magnitude deserves the direct consent of Saskatoon taxpayers.
Some Saskatoon city councillors say referendums are part of the democratic process, and the wording of the question will be important.
As long as they're transparent and that the public knows exactly what they're voting on and what they're voting against and or for, it's at the end of the day, we're in city council. We have roughly 300,000 bosses who we have to adhere to.
Referendums are kind of a tricky thing. I think we're seeing it play out a little bit in Alberta is, how is the question formed? What is the actual question being put to people?
For now, organizers say they're focused on gauging interest with hopes of getting thousands of residents to sign up. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
To Regina now, where an investigation is underway after 2 people were found dead inside a home. Sierra D'Souza Butts has the latest from the scene.
A heavy police presence here in Regina's north central neighborhood as police launch an investigation following the discovery of 2 bodies in a home on Elphinstone Street. At approximately 4:30 in the morning, Regina Police Service were dispatched to the 1100 block of Elphinstone Street. Upon arriving, officers say they found 2 people dead in the area. Some residents who spoke to CTV News say they heard gunshots and loud sounds overnight.
When I got up this morning, about 4:30 to go to the bathroom, there was some yelling, and then there was these really loud bangs, and then there was more yelling, and then we heard sirens.
Catalina, among many other people in the area, were heading to the Circle Project to grab a meal. However, the community organization was closed.
The Circle Project, they're a wonderful, wonderful group. They give out free lunches. They're here for the community.
Major Crimes and Forensic Identification Unit were at the scene, questioning people in the area. The death investigation is being operated in conjunction with the Saskatchewan Coroner's Service. Police are asking people to avoid the area. In a statement, RPS says at this early stage of the investigation, there are no further details that will be released to the public, adding the victims' names will also not be shared at this time. Residents say they continue to worry about their safety here, saying something has to be done in the neighborhood. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
All right, Jeff, I know I shouldn't say 21 degrees, 22 degrees is cold, but it kind of felt a little cold today.
Well, it's cooler than seasonal. And when we've had such warm temperatures and then we get into this sort of I'll say, the stretch of cooler than average weather. It feels that way, and certainly because we're already into August, we can see September on the horizon. It gets a little scary, but we do have some warmer temperatures in store for the weekend. They may not be sticking around. We'll have more on those details later on. We're keeping our eye on some of these active weather systems that are sliding in from Alberta right now. There are a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of Alberta. Nothing for Saskatchewan right now, and Saskatchewan, as you can see, decidedly less activity in terms of what you can see on the radar, but there's still a chance of some showers, but they're spotty in nature, and we'll tell you whether or not you're going to be able to see the Perseid meteor showers. Okay, we'll tell you that later on.
City Council is preparing for a heated discussion on public art tomorrow. As Keenan Sorokhan reports, it follows the controversial spending on 3 rock sculptures.
City Council is set to vote on ending a stream of public funding for art installations after spending almost $300,000 on plastic boulder sculptures that have generated plenty of discussion. Councillor Randy Dunauer raised the issue when these boulders, placed at the forestry farm, the landfill, and Diefenbaker Park, were part of the $37 million spent to overhaul the landfill and add the material recovery center. Under the city's public art policy, the city commits up to 1% of the budget for some capital projects costing $5 million or more towards art, up to $500,000. These modern erratics, made by 2 artists from Calgary out of plastic waste like grain bags, bottle caps from Sarcan, and household black, blue, and green carts, fell under the 1% threshold. But Dunauer wants to change that.
I've expressed my concern about the amount that this capital art program allocates, and I would like to see the percentage coming down.
There are 11 people set to speak to the matter. Another 41 submitted letters to the city, a majority of which support the current policy, calling a removal of the policy an overreaction to the recent criticism. With no shortage of feelings about the boulder or the art policy, the stage is now set for a lengthy discussion and vote that could rock City Council. Keenan Sorokhan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatoon police are looking for suspects in a bear mace attack. Police say it happened yesterday morning in the 100 block of Clancy Drive, where 2 unknown men approached a 55-year-old man and assaulted him before deploying the bear spray. The victim was treated by paramedics on the scene. A local garden in Saskatoon is dealing with a string of crime, and those in the community are trying to address the root of the problem. Hallie Mandrick has that story.
The City of Saskatoon's allotment garden on Gladstone Crescent is used to dealing with the occasional unwanted visitor, but theft and vandalism are proving to be a growing issue within the garden.
So it was mild, but this year it's really accelerated.
Those with plots at the garden say it's been a difficult season, as many plots have had plants stolen or destroyed.
We have people that are coming and destroying that sense of community. They're taking something that doesn't belong to them, which is theft, and it becomes vandalism when entire fences are ripped out and taken, along with crops of tomatoes or corn are entirely taken away.
According to the gardeners, the area currently does not have a fence or security cameras, and some have contacted the City of Saskatoon about adding security features as a way to weed out the issue.
There was a little bit at the end of last season, because there was a city cop that came here near the end of the season and was asking us, what issues that we had, but I don't know whether anything came of it.
Gardeners pay around $80 annually for a full-sized plot that they spend many hours tending to. And many are hoping that some of the funds can be reallocated to address their security concerns. In a statement to CTV News, the City of Saskatoon said, quote, "The city is currently reviewing its on-site signage to discourage theft at community gardens. This will include replacing the existing signboard and installing new signs. While the current target for installation and replacement is next spring, please note that these timelines are tentative." Miazga says, while the stolen produce is frustrating, it's about much more than that.
Who doesn't want to be able to enjoy the fruits of their own labors? To be able to have a tomato or a cucumber or something else that you've grown for yourself and for your family out of love, and an act of greed and selfishness undoes all of that.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The majority of Saskatchewan's latest wildfires are human-caused. 5 of the 6 wildfires that started last week are believed to be human-caused, while 4 are already out. The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency is reminding people to take precautions, including keeping vehicles off dry grass, safely disposing cigarette butts, and fully extinguishing campfires. Graffiti is an ongoing crime of vandalism the city deals with regularly, and this summer is no exception. But as Carla Shinkruk reports, there have been some recent unique situations.
Graffiti is nothing new in Saskatoon, but multiple tags here covering this Briarwood masonry wall on 8th Street got the community's attention.
And it all happened in one weekend or one day. I have received tons of calls about this, tons of emails with regards to Briarwood specifically.
And that single event here resulted in over 30 tags. According to the city, it doesn't mean there's more graffiti overall, but it's taken seriously.
More graffiti welcomes more graffiti and more crime and more of everything, right? So if we can reduce that, we should have less crime going on in those areas.
So far this year, just under 300 graffiti reports have come in since January 1st. Officials say that's in line with previous years. So who's responsible for removal? If it's on private or commercial property, you have about 30 days to remove it. The city does some specific types, though.
Priority 1 is hate, vulgar, and offensive graffiti. And so that's done within 1 day. If it's gang-related, high visibility locations, and repeat graffiti, that's within 1 to 3 days.
So city officials tell me that this particular graffiti on this wall doesn't meet gang or hate speech criteria, but some might be happy to learn that it does meet specific and unique removal criteria.
The whole Briarwood community probably reported it to the city of Saskatoon, and there was precedent where some areas of masonry wall was done before with graffiti, and the city looked after it.
Ford says he's pleased with how graffiti cleanup has been handled so far this season. Those we spoke to say residents play a big role, especially when tags keep coming back.
When these tags are redone, continue to put them in, because then, it could be duplicates, they may not be.
Targeted areas for graffiti in our city include River Landing and Rotary Park. Reports can be made through the City of Saskatoon website or by phone. Carla Shinkruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
An investigator is working to determine the cause of a fire at a Saskatoon townhouse complex. Crews arrived to Hart Road this afternoon at around 2 o'clock and noticed flames and smoke coming from the second-story window. The fire department says no one was home at the time and there were no injuries reported. A bridge south of Prince Albert near the turnoff to Saskatoon is set to come down. Signature Developments says following a comprehensive engineering and structural review, the historic bridge along Highway 2 will be demolished. The bridge was determined to be structurally unsafe and economically unfeasible to preserve. Bridge documentarian Scott Warniak says he understands why the bridge needs to be taken down, but he's sad to see a part of Saskatchewan history removed.
When I was up there filming it a couple of weeks ago, I went, boy, this isn't looking too good. And then I understand that if it's not safe and it would cost an insane amount of money to refurbish it to make it safe and bring it up to code, I get it. At the same time, I was really sad.
Signature Development says it will put up a monument at the location of the old bridge. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation is renewing its call for tax relief at the gas pump. The organization releasing its new gas tax honesty report at an event in Regina. The CTF is advocating for the federal government to extend its temporary fuel tax relief and for the province to introduce similar relief for the provincial gas tax. They say Saskatchewan charges a higher gas tax than its provincial neighbors, with drivers here paying about 30 cents a litre in federal and provincial taxes when filling up.
We're here calling on the Prime Minister to keep the federal gas tax at zero past September, and we're also calling on the Premier to cut the provincial gas tax to save drivers money, as well as do what Ontario Premier Doug Ford has done recently and call on the Prime Minister to keep the federal gas tax cut.
The federal tax break is currently set to expire on Labor Day. Gas Buddy's average regular gas price in Saskatchewan today was listed at $163.3, the fourth lowest in the country. Environment Canada says it's making some changes to how they alert us about severe weather.
When we identify a thunderstorm that has reached severe criteria threshold or a tornado, we are able to just highlight that particular thunderstorm or tornado, and then we can draw basically an area of around that thunderstorm and its projected path.
From there, the alert can be sent to phones in a more specific area. It's meant to cut down on alert fatigue by lowering the number of alerts Canadians are getting. The new system will focus alerts specifically to the area that forecasters think will be hit, rather than broader warnings across large areas. These changes are specific to severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings. Other alerts like heat warnings and thunderstorm watches will still be broad. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is expanding online lab booking appointments to more communities. Bookings include blood and urine collection, ECGs, and glucose tolerance testings at some locations. The SHA says appointments will be available 1 week after online booking opens. Today, Watrous is online. Regina joins tomorrow. Excitement is building for tomorrow's solar eclipse in Iceland and parts of mainland Europe. Here in Saskatchewan, people with proper eye protection might be able to see a slight partial eclipse, weather permitting.
Further north, you'll get slightly more moon coverage over the sun, but yeah, here in Canada, there's not. It's not a very big eclipse. It's very much a partial eclipse. So if you do have some eclipse glasses laying around, 10:50 a.m. on Wednesday, that is the peak time.
And people have traveled from all over the world to be in Iceland, Spain, and Portugal, 3 countries in the path of totality. Closer to home, as mentioned, the partial eclipse might start to become visible just after 10 a.m. Wednesday, with max coverage in Regina and Saskatoon around 3 and 6%. Still to come on CTV News, the latest on trade talks in Washington, and BC officials provide an update on the devastating wildfire situation. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Explosive fire behavior is how BC officials describe what they're seeing today in the Okanagan. Thousands of evacuees live with constant uncertainty near hard-hit Summerland. Andrew Johnson has more on harrowing escapes and concern from impacted businesses.
When Joel Patton and his family escaped their home near Summerland, flames that had traveled kilometers in just minutes were already at his back door.
My 5-year-old Chloe, she was tears. She had like 3 bags on. I'm saying, hey, honey, Dad's not scared. You're not scared. So we calmly got them out.
But it wasn't until he saw this photo the next morning the worst was confirmed. His home is gone.
We've lost everything in the fire.
4 days later, Patton's safe in Penticton, working to collect donations for his community. The entire district of Summerland and part of Peachland to the north remain evacuated. The fire grew overnight. It's now more than 178 square kilometers. That's double the size of the town. Reduced smoke in the area actually hurt the firefight, allowing more oxygen and heat to get through.
Even last night, without much wind, we were seeing very challenging conditions and quite significant growth in some areas of that wildfire.
As the evacuation drags on, more impacts to the community become clear. Jesse Ritchie's waterfront restaurant is one of many forced to throw out spoiled food.
It's not food safe and it's not legal to serve.
They were able to get into the restaurant to salvage what they could for 1 hour yesterday. Tens of thousands of dollars in meat, seafood, and vegetables had to be tossed out.
Like our staff were in tears. Just the fact that this product is now being wasted and not being consumed and utilized, and we're not able to donate it or do anything with it. That's one of the worst experiences I've faced in 20 years in this industry.
He's worried for the entire town that relies on summer tourism to get through the lean winter.
Unless the government is able to step in and subsidize these small businesses, there's people that aren't going to be able to survive.
An uphill climb for a community whose mayor says, whatever happens, no one will go it alone.
We need to just pull together as the community we are and get through this, and we will. And we'll get through this and we'll be stronger.
Summerland Mayor Doug Holmes also acknowledged no one's going home anytime soon. He said plans are well underway for a staggered return. But until crews can get that fire under control, some 20,000 people will be forced to wait. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Penticton, BC.
A former Toronto flight attendant who spent years pretending he was a pilot has pleaded guilty to cheating airlines out of hundreds of free flights. Dallas Pokoronik used a forged pilot ID from a Toronto-based airline to get seats on more than 200 flights. This went on for about 4 years before his identification was flagged in Panama in October. He posted his lavish travel lifestyle on social media frequently. The Toronto airline he claimed to pilot for hasn't been named. Pokoronik pleaded guilty to wire fraud and has agreed to pay the airlines back. Urgent trade talks took place in Washington today between Canada and the United States. The second meeting in less than a week, and the stakes are high. CTV's Mike Lecoutier is in Washington with the latest.
CTV News has learned that both Canadian and American trade representatives are aiming to put the layout of a trade deal in front of U.S. President Donald Trump in the days ahead of that August 19th deadline.
How confident are you about getting a deal, Minister?
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Canada's lead trade negotiator with the U.S., Janice Charette, had a nearly 1-hour meeting with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer on Tuesday. Now, it's unclear how that meeting went, but last week, industry sources with knowledge of the discussions were cautiously optimistic about the progress that was being made. Proposals are being discussed by both sides, including the removing of Canadian counter tariffs on autos and looking at those provincial bans on American alcohol. Canadian dairy quotas are also on the table. In exchange, the U.S. would agree to lower sectoral tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminum, autos, and the lumber industry as well. Following today's meeting, Minister Dominic LeBlanc was tight-lipped about how it went.
Minister, how close are we to a deal?
Bonjour. Hello. You know we're not going to discuss those things.
But how confident are you the way that the conversations
Mike,
are going?
Full points for trying. You're outside in the Washington heat in the summer.
I know, but a lot of Canadians are wondering. A lot of Canadians are wondering how close you are.
We'll have something to say when the moment's right.
This was the third face-to-face meeting between LeBlanc and Greer in as many weeks. While it's unclear exactly when they'll sit down together again, LeBlanc's office tells CTV News that Janice Charette is in contact with her American counterparts daily. Mike Lecoutier, CTV News, Washington.
Cause I only drink alone when I'm with someone.
Hey there, I'm Danny Eberhardt, and we are A Call Before You Dig. We're going to be playing the Northern Lights Bluegrass and Old Time Festival. That's on August 14th, 15th, and 16th. You can catch us there or on Instagram at Call Before You Dig Band. Now, what's the weather going to be like there, Jeff?
Well, Danny, it looks like it's going to be a bit rainy that day. The day I believe you hit the stage is going to be Friday at 6 o'clock. So right now, let's hope the rain has stopped. But right now, it looks like some showers are in store for Friday up around Big River. And so look at that, a 6 o'clock start for, but they're under the cover, you know. So just if you're wearing the right rain gear, Ness Creek is often like this. So probably no different for the Northern Lights Bluegrass Festival as well. 23 degrees though for a daytime high. And once again, it's all happening at the Ness Creek Festival site up by Big River. All right, let's take a look and see what our big numbers are now. Not so big. 22 degrees in Saskatoon and Prince Albert, 21 in the Battlefords. Partly cloudy, mainly cloudy or sunny skies. And then, as you can see, not particularly windy, but generally speaking, a northerly wind, which is a bit on the cooler side. On to the almanac for Saskatoon, daytime high today of 22 degrees. 25 is typical for this time of year. 36, the record warm temperature. 1928, the record cold temperature. 0 degrees. Ooh, that's cold. From 1893, and the sun's going to go down at 8:39.
Coming up, chocolate makers with Saskatchewan connections. They taste victory with new recognition.
The stage is almost set for the province's biggest bluegrass festival. Wednesday on Your Morning, we're teeing up the Northern Lights Bluegrass and Old Time Music Festival featuring Jake Fodlin.
All right, now let's take a look and see what's going on outside. As you can see, some relatively blue sky, some thin clouds out there, but not as dark or gray as they were 24 hours ago when we looked through the sky cam. But as you can see, a fairly nice day, and it has been a nice day, but as Laura was mentioning, a bit on the cool side. Let's take a look at the satellite radar shot. And as I mentioned, it's pretty much, you know, unsettled coast to coast. It's the most, and we've got ourselves a bit more in the way of significant weather happening, active weather happening in Alberta right now. Not as much in Saskatchewan. We still expect to see some shower activity, but spotty in nature. I'm going to get out of the way here and we'll recap those numbers. 22 in Saskatoon and Prince Albert, and 21 right now in the Battlefords under sunny skies. If the skies stay clear, that'd be good for people who want to watch the meteor shower tonight. Val-Marie, 28 degrees, 7 degrees in Weyburn. Those are hot and low temperatures for today. 16 degrees right now in Lloydminster, 21 in Swift Current, 24 in Moose Jaw, Regina, and Estevan, 20 in Yorkton. Into central Saskatchewan, parts of the northern grain belt and the Lakeland region, or at least parts of the Lakeland region. Temperatures ranging not all that much. 5-degree range here from Spiritwood at 19 to 24 in Nipawin. Most areas in and around that 21-degree mark. And up north, a little cooler, 15 degrees in Collins Bay, 14 in Key Lake, 20 in Buffalo Narrows, 22 in La Ronge, 21 in Sandy Bay, Island Falls. And down south, temperatures towards the southern part of the province, particularly in the south central and southeastern part of the province at 25 degrees. A little cooler as we make our way northward. And as you get up to Melville, it's 20 degrees over towards Maple Creek and East End, 21. Now we've got our futurecast. So the computer modeling indicating that the most active weather is going to be in southern Saskatchewan, but in behind it as we roll into tomorrow afternoon, yeah, pop-up showers and yeah, it's Jiffy Pop, and there it is. So we could see scattered but sort of isolated showers here and there. Just wanted to point out there are severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in effect for Alberta, and you can see the shapes that now exist in Alberta indicating those areas that are under a warning, and they are different now, and so they are hopefully going to be more precise and easier when it comes to alerting people about the nastier weather that's in store. Temperatures around 18 degrees tomorrow for northern Saskatchewan under cloudy or mainly cloudy skies. We've got ourselves temperatures in the high 20s, high teens, low 20s with a chance of showers in Meadow Lake. That's in west central Saskatchewan. In the southwest, a lot more unsettled condition. We've got ourselves a chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm in Maple Creek, and later possibility of showers in Outlook and Swift Current on Wednesday. Temperatures in and around that 22-degree mark for southeastern Saskatchewan tomorrow, and just a little bit cooler, but pretty darn close in east central Saskatchewan, again under mainly cloudy skies. Dropping down to 11 tonight in the Battlefords. Slight chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm, mainly cloudy skies on Wednesday. 21 degrees, and then 19 on Thursday. Friday, 18, and there could be a fair amount of rain on Friday as we make our way towards the weekend. But the weekend, well, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, basically around 23 degrees, a little cooler on Tuesday with a chance of showers. Prince Albert's overnight temperature, 11 degrees, warming up 10 degrees with mainly cloudy skies on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, 21 again. Friday, a little cooler, but a chance of some significant showers, 16 degrees. Again, temperatures basically around 23 for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and a chance of showers on Tuesday. And Saskatoon, we've got an overnight temperature of 11 degrees, partly cloudy skies. 21 tomorrow with mainly cloudy conditions. And then 21 on Thursday. Friday, we could see, well, Thursday into Friday, we could see up to 20 millimeters of rain. Will we wait and see if that forecast changes? Getting up to 25 on Sunday, but then backing off again on Monday and Tuesday.
What you doing attached to my truck like this?
Some sad news out of Hollywood and Hazard County. Ben Jones, the actor best known for playing Cooter Davenport on the TV series The Dukes of Hazzard, has died. After playing Cooter for the entirety of the series from 1979 to 1985, Jones turned to politics. He was elected to Congress as a Democrat, serving 2 terms. His wife says Jones had a heart attack while waiting to watch his beloved Atlanta Braves play on Sunday. Ben Jones was 84. A UK watchdog says a radio station breached two of its rules after accidentally announcing the death of King Charles in a May broadcast. Radio Caroline apologized after airing the false messages. The national anthem was played, followed by nearly 16 minutes of silence before the regular program resumed. The presenter apologized 30 minutes after that. 30 minutes after the message aired, the UK communications regulator said the significant inaccuracy and the considerable length of time taken to acknowledge the error breached its rules. And this doll is ready to dance with somebody. Whitney Houston is the latest addition to the Barbie signature series. It's dressed in a look from her I Wanna Dance with Somebody music video and comes with a microphone and stand. Houston's sister-in-law and executor of her estate worked with the creative team at Mattel to create the doll. No word on the Bobby Brown version of Ken. No word.
You added that one in, eh?
No.
All right, Jeff, you have some picks of the day for us.
I certainly do, and let's start. It's a foursome today, so let's take a look and see how we start here. This one comes to us from Rob. Rob tells us this is water lilies that are flowering on Chittick Lake. That is a nice close-up, so nice job there, Rob. From Diane, Diane writes simply, in Victoria area. So that's all the details we had. So I suspect she means Victoria, BC, because there's not a lot of topiary in Saskatoon. I don't think so. Amanda, taken just yesterday outside of Wilkie. Amanda writes, baby moose crossed the road in front of my vehicle to the other side where Mama stood there waiting. I dare not get out of the vehicle. LOL. Yeah, that was a good strategy to stay put, but that is a great nature shot. And finally, from Wayne. Wayne says, took this picture on Sunday by our cabinet Weaquin. It is a Lecinium versipel. There you go. Lecinium versipel. Some people say Lestium, some people, it's slightly different when it comes to how the Latin is pronounced. So I looked it up, and this is an edible mushroom, and it's also known as the orange birch bullet. So there you go. So thank you for that picture. And if you'd like to send us a picture, you can certainly do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. And please, we're begging you, put pick of the day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, Saskatchewan chocolatiers have a reason to celebrate. Small farm in Ecuador is getting major recognition, and it has ties right here to our province. Donovan Mace has more on how a family from Assiniboia ended up with world-renowned chocolate.
This small shop on Center Street in Assiniboia has a hidden gem inside. Gold bars made of award-winning chocolate from Ecuador.
We opened a little artisanal production shop in the closest town to our farm, and we produce our chocolate bars there.
Originally from Assiniboia, Tiffany Rose and her husband Robert Pant first bought a small cacao farm in San Dimas, Ecuador about 6 years ago. At the time, they had no idea what their chocolate would become.
Just learning about the industry and learning about caring for cacao trees, and we really loved it. My husband fell in love with it especially.
Choco Estates uses only local ingredients from theirs or neighboring farms.
Now, when you split the pods, the best way to do it is to make sort of like a little boat.
The chocolate processing also follows traditional practices native to the San Dimas area. They've only been producing their bars for less than 2 years, but Rose and her business partner, Kristen Crash, entered 2 of their confections into the Craft Chocolate Challenge, the dark chocolate vegan gold milk bar, ending up winning the Top Innovation Award for its unique style and flavor.
We were absolutely stunned to win because we thought we're just new, we don't have a lot of experience, we didn't really have any expectations. So it was really a big surprise, and we were really delighted that they really loved it.
But for Rose, the award is about more than just her chocolate.
It's not just about our tiny little farms, it's about all of the farmers that are working to try and preserve this cacao and working really, really hard to earn a living for their families, and just the recognition that they deserve as ancestral cacao growers.
Choco Estates hopes to enter more bars into the competition in the years ahead, all while supporting the San Dimas economy and the farmers who live there. Donovan May, CTV News, Assiniboia.
When we come back, the Saskatoon Berries prepare for Game 1 of the East Division Final, and we introduce you to the 3 teenagers who have set an impressive world record.
Here's what's happening in our community. With support from SGI Canada, Wanuskewin Heritage Park is free to visit on Sundays in August. That's free admission and parking. Bidding opens August 16th in the Apothecare online silent auction. Every dollar raised goes directly towards the Apothecare Support Registry, helping families facing cancer. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
All right, time to take a look and see what the rural forecast has in store. And temperatures are going to remain below seasonal. It's simple as that. Temperatures in the high teens, low 20s in many locations. And those spotty showers that I was talking about, Meadow Lake expecting some showers, so is Outlook, but not the case for a lot of other locations north and south of the Yellowhead, and that includes Hudson Bay and Wynyard. Let's make our way down south, where temperatures are going to be ever so slightly warmer towards the eastern side of the province. But on the western side, yeah, a lot more in the way of inclement weather. Showers with a risk of a thunderstorm in Leader, Maple Creek, and East End. Possibility of showers in Assiniboia, Rockglen, and Coronach. And again, temperatures staying below where they would typically be this time of August. And that includes St. Walburg, 19 degrees tomorrow. Winds out of the northeast at 20 kilometers an hour. So, yeah, a bit on the cool side. Hopefully a little warmer later on. And remember, St. Walburg is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Greetings, everyone. The musical traditions of Indigenous peoples across North America are rich and diverse. Powwow drumming is one of the most well-known forms. Native American flute offers a distinct tradition with its own history, cultural significance, and unique sound. We recently caught up with a class who are playing the flute for the very first time.
For most of the day, this group of youth have been testing out their new flutes with the guidance of longtime flute player Dicky Uzichipi. The students are learning to make music. Uzichipi has been playing since he was 5 years old, learning different styles along the way.
There's different styles of play. Like we have Naheo way, which is a Cree. We have the Dakota way of play. We have our tribes from the south, the Navajo, the Kiowa, Comanche, as well as the Navajo. I mean, everybody has their own style of play.
The instruments are Native American flutes. Uzichipi is sharing some of the history passed down to him, saying the flute is of Navajo origin. It was then shared to other nations thanks to a traveling Navajo who left and headed north. For some time in Saskatchewan, there were only a small number of traditional flute players.
Through survivors of IRS, those grandparents then gave those flutes to their grandchildren, and those grandchildren are started bringing it back. Like I'm one of those grandchildren.
The Regina Indigenous Residential School Survivors Board, along with the Archdiocese of Regina, played a part in getting this flute workshop going. The class is meant to be an act of reconciliation and cultural revitalization.
It shows that our culture did not disappear. It did not die. Like, we didn't go away. We didn't disappear. We're still here. And our culture is still alive, and it's being shared, and it's still there.
Another 2-day workshop is scheduled for August at the Mamawiatatin Center.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle is brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
The Saskatoon Berries begin the East Final tonight in Moose Jaw. The Berries are facing the Miller Express for the 3rd straight postseason, with each team winning 1 series. Both series needed to deciding Game 3 to advance. In the regular season series, Saskatoon edged Moose Jaw 5 games to 3, including an 11-2 home win last week. As mentioned, Game 1 is tonight in Moose Jaw. Tomorrow night is in Saskatoon. The Canadian Junior Boys Championship Golf Tournament is being held in Regina this week. Over the next 4 days, 156 golfers will compete at the Wascana Country Club. The athletes are under 19 and from across Canada. The final round will be on Friday, and the public is welcome to attend and watch.
It takes a lot of perseverance. Golf is the kind of game that people aspire to and play their whole life. And when I see these young athletes, they are putting in a lot of effort and time and dedication, and their parents and families are too, by supporting them.
The last major tournament hosted by the Wascana Country Club was the CPCK Women's Open in 2018, won by Canada's Brooke Henderson. A new kingpin could soon rule the international cannabis trade as Curaleaf sets its sights on a Canadian company. And tonight we're hearing reaction from that company.
Aurora Cannabis is in the crosshairs of U.S. giant Curaleaf, which is intending to launch an unsolicited takeover bid. The $4 per share offer was going straight to investors after reports that Aurora's board refused to engage in private talks. In a statement this afternoon, though, Aurora says, contrary to the reports, its lead director corresponded with Curaleaf CEO as recently as last month. Aurora says it does plan to form a special committee of independent directors to consider the proposal. The offer comes as Aurora grapples with mounting headwinds, particularly in its Canadian medical and consumer cannabis segment. At one point today, shares of Aurora shot up more than 20%. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 71.82. West Texas Intermediate also finished the day higher, up to 83.20 a barrel. Western Canadian Select is up to 65.81. And it was yet another record high for the TSX today, closing at 36,475 points. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Turning to local gas prices, the average price in Saskatoon is currently at $1.56 a liter. That's down. The lowest price in town is $1.39.8. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco was up $1.85, and Nutrien finished the day at $93.60. Coming up, taking fast food to a whole new level. Then a new skipping record has been set.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV. The owner of one of New York's most unique pizza shops is taking fast food to a whole new level.
We're jumping into a storefront that's charging anywhere from $8,000 to $20,000 a month. I want to make sure people are enjoying the product.
Bradley Alvello runs what may just be New York's smallest pizzeria. The Pizza Pod is operated entirely out of the back of his car. He has a portable generator to power his mini ovens, allowing the Pizza Pod to pull up to any New York street corner. There you go. You don't need a whole restaurant.
No, but how's the pie? That's the important thing. How's the pie?
Well, it's from New York, so it's probably pretty good.
Roll it up, John Travolta style.
Although I think Saskatoon has some of the best pizza I've ever had.
I was just talking to John about pizza. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
there you go. 3 teenagers in China have set a record you need to see and hear to believe. All right, Jeff's jaw is on the floor here. These 3 12-year-olds in southwest China just broke a world record at the 2026 Asian Jump Rope Championships. They made 496 successful jumps in just 60 seconds in the team event. It takes a lot of effort to be this good. Students at the school train 2 to 3 hours daily, and even longer on holidays, 8 to 10 hours a day. So there you go. Here's my question. How are they counted? Like, they counted the 496.
There's some official statistician somewhere. Well, it's the same thing when you watch boxing, when CompuBox. It's like, how many strikes in there? How many jabs? Okay, wow. But this is pretty amazing. It's like a frenetic dance.
Yeah, good glutes on those, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Strong.
Exactly. So, hey, we're gonna hopefully there won't be too many clouds tonight, so you get a chance to see the Perseid meteor shower. But I guess we'll do this. Okay. So yeah, we can tell you that we've got ourselves a decent day tomorrow. Temperatures around 21 by the mid-afternoon.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff.